hi. Say hi. Say hi. Say hi to everybody. Hey, everybody. It's Mellow and Jeanette. Yeah. Okay, you gonna let me do my live? Let me do my live. I gotta get back to work. Hey, everybody. Hope you guys are doing good this Friday. Hope you guys can hear and see me okay. I hope they can come and see us and hear us okay. Can they hear? Okay, you want to sit next to me? All right, here we go. Hope everybody is doing good today. And looks like Mello wants to do his cameo, and I don't think he's going to be sitting with us all day. But let's see how how he does and stuff. Thank you guys for joining in. What are we going to be talking about today? We are going to be talking about the pros and cons of custom embroidery. So why are we going to be talking about it? Because I did a rush order. And when I did the rush order, had a lot of complications with it. Not so much so, but I was thinking to myself, this is a pretty good topic to share with everybody today. Okay. So I'm going to adjust this here. Okay. All right, Mello, you can just hang out with me. So let's talk about this. Okay. So as usual, for those of you who are new, hi, I'm Jeanette from Boricua Sewing and Crafts. Thank you for joining me tonight. Tonight, we are going to be talking, like I said, about the pros and cons of custom embroidery. All right. So I already see we have a whole bunch of people in the chat. So I'm just going to go ahead and do my thing. As always, the way I host these embroidery happy hour is the first hour. I like to give you guys all the 411 of the topic of the week. And then after that, then I like to spend a little time with you guys, you know, answering questions and everything from the chat. Okay, so let's get down to it because I know everybody's time is valuable and sometimes people can't really hang out for like 2 or 3 hours. So let's get down to it. All right, the pros and cons of embroidery. All right, this is how I see it. And I hope Mello is not going to grab his toy and start squeaking while I'm talking. Okay, he walked away. Okay, he's going to go lay down. Good thing. All right, so this is how I see it, guys. There are two types of embroiderers out there in the world today. We have the retail embroiderer, and then we have custom embroiderer, okay? Now, usually the type of embroiderer that you're going to be is really going to depend on the temperament that you have in taking risks, okay? You know, there's always two types of folks in the world, right? You have those that like the nice, calm life. They don't like any drama or anything like that, and they just like things to be nice and simple. Well, and then you have those folks that really love the roller coaster ride, right? They love change. They love to embrace challenges. They like the calmness, but they want the excitement as well. Well, think of embroidery the same exact way, okay? A lot of times when you are new into the world of embroidery, you're just starting out and you're just starting to learn and build your skill. And when you are learning and building your skill, what ends up happening is you kind of go into the role in the very beginning, which all of us start there, as to what I call the retail embroiderer. Now, the retail embroiderer is someone that just kind of stays a little bit in their comfort zone. And what I mean by that is that you go and you just download designs. You do little modifications to them, but it's not really extravagant modifications, all right? You kind of like to do your own thing. You really, what you do is you embroider stuff. Like, let's say you take shirts and you just embroider shirts. You know how to embroider the shirts. You download the designs. All you do is add a name on it, maybe a date, very little customization, and then you sell it as is. Now, a custom embroiderer is pretty different, okay? They also do those items as well, but the thing is, they kind of take that embroidery at another level, okay? And the reason why they don't mind doing that is really because they're more seasoned embroiderers. They're more familiar with different types of fabric, different types of stabilizers, threads, needles, needle types, needle sizes. So they're more prone to take more challenges and risk in their embroidery. So custom embroidery is really like a challenge. And the reason why I say challenge is because think about the word custom. The custom means uniqueness. That means that every order that comes in is going to be different. They're not going to be the same. So the process is not going to be the same. When you have a retail embroiderer, you're more of, repetitive process. So what you do is let's take an example, okay? Like let's look at my Etsy shop, okay? I have an Etsy shop, and if you look at some of the items that I sell on my Etsy shop, you'll notice that a lot of them are kitchen towels. They have different designs, but it's really a repetitive thing, right? It's like, oh, you have a kitchen towel, you can buy it as is, or you can I'll add a name. Say they with baby blankets, I can add a name too. So what happens is, when you embroider in that format, there's a lot of pros that come with that different type of style, right? First of all, one of the pros is that what you do is you're selling what you want to sell. Okay, nobody's going up to you and saying, "Hey, can you do all this other stuff?" Right? No, you're doing your own thing. So what you're doing is, if you like to embroider shirts, that's all you do. You go and you buy bulks of shirts, you embroider them how you want to embroider it with very little minimal customization. Now, what's good about that is that your process is repetitive. And when your process is repetitive, a lot of things kind of fall in line. So you don't have really much craziness going on. What happens is you just buy a certain type of supplies. You already know what kind of blanks you like. So that's the ones you're going to continue to buy. You already kind of know the type of thread colors that you're going to use. So you're going to continue buying those as well. So that also falls in line with the other supplies as stabilizers, as needles, the thread weights, and all that kind of stuff. You already know what you're going to embroider, how you're going to embroider it. So every time an order comes in, it's a very similar process, okay? So that is, in a way, a good thing. However, though, it can have its little cons as well. And I'm going to tell you what some of these cons are. The thing is, that type of embroidery style does work well. However, though, you really got to know the audience that you're selling to and your product as well. I'll give you an example of that. Hold on. I want to plug in my laptop, because I don't want my laptop to kind of like go and die on me or stuff like that. So I just want to make sure that I plug it in here. Okay, good. I'm plugged in. All right. So I'm going to make sure I don't tangle anything with anything here. All right. So, all right. Got sidetracked now. All right. So some of the things that is that's a con is you really got to know what you're selling, and you have to know that there is a demand out there for it. All right. Like, I'll give you an example. Let's say I get a hat, okay, and I like to embroider hats. I have a design that I like to do. I put the design on the hat. I put it on my Etsy shop. So what ends up happening is now you have to kind of like, I don't want to say pray or hope or whatever, but you have to make sure that folks out there like what you're providing, right? They like that hat. They like that design. That's what they're going to order. Okay. Maybe you'll do a little bit of customization on that hat, or on a blanket, or a beach towel or something like that. But the thing is, you're meeting a certain demand that is out there. Okay. So, but the thing is, you're not alleviating from your comfort zone. So talking about comfort zone, there is a little down, like I said, to the retail embroiderer. You're going to be not profiting as much, because all you're doing is you're selling stuff that you like to embroider, right? The designs that you're comfortable embroidering, products that you like to embroider, and the type of customization that you're offering is really on the minimal side, right? You're just changing a name, you're putting a date, very minimal changes that you're doing on the products that you're offering. So because of that, the demand has to be there, and the demand's not there, then you're not going to sell too much. Also, what ends up happening is, I want you to kind of think strategically. If you are embroidering the same thing over and over and over again, I'm sure that what you are embroidering, you are excellent in doing, because it has been so repetitive. You probably did it like 100 times. However, though, What are you doing to expand your skill set? What ends up happening is you're actually doing nothing, because what you're doing is you're staying in that comfort zone. So you're saying, this is how I want to do, and this is all I'm doing, and you're not really exploring. So what's happened is you got comfortable in embroidering in a particular type of fabric. You got comfortable embroidering with a particular type of thread, needles, and so forth, right? So I just want you to think about that, okay? Now let's go to the other side. Let's think about the custom embroiderer. The custom embroiderer can also do what the retail embroiderer does. However, though, there's a little kick to it. What ends up happening is they don't just go to the folks out there and say, hey, do you want to buy my products? They allow customers to come to them and tell them what they want and need. And then what happens is the custom embroiderer, what they do is they gather the requirements and they kind of like take that order and make that order a reality. Now, there's so much pros and cons with the custom embroiderer, and I want to go down, and I got my little list right here of all my stuff here that I was thinking about, and I want to make sure that I touch all the base on it, because I want you guys to really think about it. Because honestly, I really feel that folks should really, when you're first starting out doing embroidery, I know it's hard, it's very expensive, it's a lot to learn. And it takes a lot of practice to get where you'll get really good. So I always think everybody should start when in the retail side, right? Get comfortable with what you have, learn how to use it, and use it well. Once you do that, then that's when you have to get out of that comfort zone, and that's when you got to come out and tell yourself, all right, now I'm ready to explore. I am ready to jump out, get my feet wet, roll up those sleeves, and start to really hustle. And that's when you want to really get into the custom embroidery end. The custom embroidery end, to me, is really the most profitable, because you kind of have the best of two worlds. You can go ahead and sell what you really like to do and make, but at the same time, you're not closing the door to other options to make money. Because what happens is sometimes people may come to you and say, hey, I have a small business, I have a logo, and I need to get some polo shirts. If you're a retail embroiderer, most of the time, a lot of times what they do is they shy away from those type of orders because they're custom work, right? So what happens is, they don't want to deal with all this customization. So they'll probably come out and say, no, that's not something that I want to do. But a custom embroiderer, we take the challenge on, okay? Good or bad, we take it, all right? And then what I'll usually do is, I'll work with a customer and, and I'll get their logo and I get it digitized. I have to test stitch it. I have to gather all those requirements. I really have to do my research on the type of fabric that I'm going to be embroidering on, the type of threads that I want. And that's the other thing too. When you are a custom embroiderer, it's a lot more expensive than if you do retail. Because think about what I just said, okay? When you do retail embroidery, you're doing the same designs over and over again. So chances are you already know what color threads you need, right? So the supplies are going to be part of your repetitive process. So you really aren't going to be going out there exploring and purchasing extra threads and all that good stuff, right? But when you do custom embroidery, what ends up happening is you never know when that customer comes to you if they're going to need the color purple, if they're going to need a certain type of blue or a certain type of red, if they're going to need 60 or 40 weight. You don't know what kind of needles you're going to need because you don't know what kind of fabric they're going to come up to you for. And then you're going to also have to look at the type of stabilizer that you're going to use. There is so much thought that gets into it, which in a way, I honestly understand why a lot of people try to just stay on the retail side of embroidery and they try to shy away from doing the custom embroidery. It is a lot of work. It is. A lot of times people go, God, that's just so much. And it is true. And I'm going to tell you how custom embroidery actually works when I do it, okay? Now let's say somebody comes up to me, like I said, small business owner comes to me and says, Jeanette, I have a logo. I have about 50 polo shirts that I need to get done, and this is my design. Well, first of all, right off the bat, you could tell the differences between a retail embroiderer and a custom embroiderer. Okay. Retail embroiderer doesn't even have to have a discussion with somebody. Okay. All it is this is what I offer. Do you want it or not? Do you want your name on it or not? That's it. With a custom embroiderer, totally different. I actually have to sit down with that person, look at their logo, discuss the type of clothing that they're going to embroider on, start researching about the type of stabilizer I'm going to use, the type of thread I'm going to need. I have to reach out to my digitizer. I have to pay my digitizer. I have to get the file sent to me once it's digitized. Then I have to test stitch it. Once I test stitch it, okay, then what I have to do is I have to show it to the customer, make sure that the test stitch actually came out the way the customer wants it to be. And then I have to work with the customer to make sure that they're getting the right type of shirts and everything, that I have to make sure I order the right stabilizer. I got to make sure that I have the right needles and the right threads. For those of you guys that watched the puffy jacket that I did for that small business, okay, I didn't say in the video, and I should have, because I got a lot of questions regarding this. When I embroidered that puffy jacket, okay, I actually used 2 different size needles because of the logo, okay? The way the logo was set up, I needed a 40 weight thread and a 60 weight thread, which meant that I had to use a 75-11 needle and a 65-9 needle in order for me to embroider the logo on those jackets. All right. And you also saw that if you watched that video, you saw hooping took longer because I actually had to stretch the material, because that material had feathers between the top and the bottom fabric. So I had to make sure that material didn't shift while it was embroidering. So as you can see, custom embroidery is really very, very time consuming. Okay. It is not for someone who doesn't want to deal with people, because you're going to have to deal with people. All right. You're going to have to sit down and you got to have those conversations with your customers. Okay. Because you have to make sure that you have a full, good understanding of what it is that they want and need. You're also going to have that honest conversation with them to tell them what you're capable of doing and what you can't. You have to make sure that you talk to them about time frame, okay? You have to make sure you explain the process about getting something digitized, and then also having them look at that test stitch, and then having the conversations about the different types of fabric and so on. So as you can see, the process of a custom embroiderer is a lot time consuming. And I'll tell you what, when you do custom embroidery, not 2 orders are the same. One customer will come with some type of requirements and needs, and another customer is going to come with something totally different. So you never have what I call the repetitive process, okay? A retail embroiderer will, because all they're doing is focusing on what they like to embroider and sell. So they just focus on those products and that's it. So it's all repetitive, okay? The way they hoop it, the design, they already got that down pat. They already know exactly how long it's going to take to stitch. I mean, so pricing, let's go into pricing. Pricing gets a lot easier when you do retail embroidery, okay? Because you already know, you already got your price set up, okay? When you do custom embroidery, pricing is very difficult. Then you guys have heard me say this, okay? Every time somebody wants you to do some type of custom embroidery and they come to you and they say, hey, I want to have this done. How much would it be? They always want you to give them a price up front. My advice is always, I have to gather the requirements and get back to you. You never, ever, ever give a customer a price of how much a custom embroidery is going to cost up front. Never. And I said it before, and I'm going to say it again. You will screw yourself if you do it. You really will. And you'll be angry with yourself. And I'm going to tell you why. Because, first of all, custom embroidery requires something to get digitized. Depending on what it is that you need to get digitized, sometimes you don't get a flat rate. Sometimes a digitizer may cost you a little more for the simple fact that it depends on the size. It also depends on the complexity of the design. The other thing also is that you have to test stitch that design. When you test stitch that design, that is when you get an indication of how long it's going to take for you to embroider that particular design. Then you have to also look at the product that they want you to embroider on. How are you going to hoop it? How long is it going to take you to hoop it? How long is it going to take for you to actually finish one product? So you have to really calculate not only your time, you got to calculate all the thread, you got to calculate all those steps inside for it to be profitable. If you go ahead and someone tells you, hey, I just want a logo on a shirt, and you didn't even see the logo, okay? And they say, can you give me a price? And I go, sure, $10 a shirt. Then next thing you know, they give me this logo. It's complicated with like 10 different colors, and probably, I could tell by looking at it that some of the thread is going to have to be 60 weight, and some of it's going to have to be 40 weight, and I'm going to have to use different types of needles. And then they say, hey, I don't want to use a shirt. I want to use a puffy jacket, which I know that's going to take longer to hoop. So what's going to happen is, and I came on, I said $10. I said, shoot, I'd be like, man, I just gave them, free embroidery. And I did. So that's why I say never, ever, ever. When somebody comes to you and says, hey, I have something that needs to get embroidered, can you give me a price? You tell them, I don't give estimates right up front. I have to gather all the requirements, and I need to get back to you 1 or 2 days. In 1 or 2 days, I'll give you an estimate. Do your homework. I am telling you, you will screw yourself every time if you give a price up front, and you might as well just hang it up. Just hang it up. Just, you know what? Just say you are embroidering for your friends and family. Just say that, because you ain't going to make a profit. I'm telling you right now. I've done it in the past. Big mistake. And I totally now know I will not do a price up front. Never. I don't even care how small the job looks like it's going to be. I want to get all the facts, give you all the 411 up front, and you're going to wait 1 or 2 days, because I have to sit on it and I have to think about it. And then also it depends on the quantity. Do I have, the threads for all 3 machines, and how long it's going to take me for me to be able to calculate. And also you got to remember, while you're working on one order, okay, can you work on other orders at the same time? Or is that order going to occupy all 3 of my machines? That's another thing that I take into consideration, okay? Because if you're going to use up all my machines, that means I can't work on anything else. Okay, so there's a lot of things. So pricing in custom embroidery is much more complicated than if you're doing retail embroidery, okay? So I'm going to share right here. I'm going to go down this list, okay? Retail embroidery. I did retail embroidery on one side, custom embroidery on the other. Let's just do only the retail. You only sell what they want to make. That's all it is. So you want to make shirts, that's all you're going to put out there. You're going to make hats, that's all you're going to put out there. That means that if somebody comes up to you and says, hey, can you embroider something different? You're going to be like, no, because you're only comfortable in doing what you like to do. Okay. The only thing, like I mentioned before, is you better hope that there's a market out there for that. Okay. So, just because you think it's cute, that doesn't mean the world out there think it's cute. Okay. I've made a lot of things that when I embroidered it, like kitchen towels, different designs and stuff, and I thought, oh, this is going to be a bestseller. Oh my God, this is too cute. And I'm like, oh, I'm dying. It's beautiful. Put it out there, then make not one sale. Nobody bought it. And I'm like, okay, what happened? Okay, so I quickly learned that just because you like it doesn't mean that the world outside is going to like it, okay? I've also had the opposite happen, where I just did something simple that I put together, and I'm like, it looks all right. It's no big deal. whatever. I thought it was all right. That's it. Put it out there on the site, bestseller. Everybody wants one. And I'm like, okay, I didn't know it was going to be that hot. So it's a hit and miss. Okay. So you got, when you start creating your products and you start putting them out there and stuff like that, some might work, some might not. You just never know. Okay. The only thing also that I say is when you go into that retail embroidery space, your skill set is not going to grow too quick because you're just doing what you want to do. So you're repeating everything over and over and over again. Now, you're going to get good at what you're doing, but you're not expanding your skill set. You're not really exploring other types of fabric. You're not exploring other types of stabilizer, different types of weight threads, different types of needles. You're not exploring how to embroider on different products, okay? Like jeans or jean jackets or sweatshirts, hoodies, puffy jackets, swim coats, hats, gloves, beanies, scarves, and different styles of embroidery as well. Because remember, sometimes when you are embroidering different types of fabric, you also have to manipulate the styles in a little bit, and you have to add something called knockdown stitches if you have a lot of fuzz on your fabric, okay? Because you don't want the stitches to sink into the material. So there's a lot of different methods of embroidery that you're not going to explore if you stay in that retail world, right? Because you're like, I do this. This is what I like doing. This is what I'm going to sell. And that's it, which is fine. But just know that as you are just focusing on this stuff, and hopefully people like what you're doing, the embroidery world is still evolving, right? People are trying different methods. They're doing appliques in a different way. They're adding knockdown stitches. They're doing patches. They're doing a bunch of decorative stuff, sketch embroidery. They're doing the regular, the classic fill-in embroidery. Some people, they're doing so much, right? So you want to grow your skill set, and the way to do it is to really get out of that comfort zone. So that's what ends up happening, is you end up in that comfort zone and you really don't grow. Okay, but like I said, it depends on what it is that you want to get out of this. Okay, so also the profit is going to be limited, okay, because you're only going to be making money on the stuff that you are selling. That's it. Okay, that's all you're going to be doing. Okay, I just sell baby onesies, so I'm just going to be making money on the baby onesies, right? So you may end up having a lot of missed opportunities to make profit if you're just not exploring out there. Okay, your pricing is going to be easier because you're doing the same thing over and over again. So you already know the cost. So you've already kind of excelled at how to price that material to make sure that not only do you cover your time, your cost, you can get a profit. So that is a little bit on the easy side. Okay. Now, you also have a minimal risk associated too, because you are doing the same thing over and over again as a retail embroidery. The chances of you making a mistake and messing up is very minimal. And also, the chances, if you do make a mistake, is going to be of minimal risk to customers, for the simple fact that if all you do is embroider hats and stuff like that, if you mess up the hat while you embroider it, it's not a big deal because you are a retail embroiderer, right? So you probably have a bunch of blank hats. So you just take that hat, throw it out, take another hat and embroider it. And then when you got it right, you just ship that out to your customer, right? So, it's like the blanks are really stuff that you have. So if you mess it up, it's not a big deal. The other thing I got is getting customers. It can be a little more difficult because, like I said, your products that you are embroidering, you got to make sure that the folks out there love what you do. Okay, they gotta love the products that you're putting out there. They love the designs you're putting on those sweatshirts. They love the hats. They love the beanies. They love your scarves. They love your baby blankets, your baby onesies. Okay. Those are the ones that got to be a hit. So as long as your customers like your products, then you're okay. But, making sure that you have a full understanding of what the demand is out there can be a little tricky. So, it's kind of a risk right there. Okay. And, your business, I put down your business creative process is down packed, the timing and the pricing. So that is a pro. Okay. So let's go now on the custom embroidery side. Okay. You can work mostly with any customer order. Okay. You're a risk taker. Okay. So you're a custom embroiderer. So that means anybody that can come up to me and give me a ask for, any type of order, custom or regular, I can take that order. Okay. Which means that in turn, it is more profit. Okay. More profitable. So I can make more money for the simple fact that not only do I sell what I like making, but if somebody comes with a certain requirement that is not, something that I usually make, I don't usually turn it down. If it's something that I know I can do and I'm comfortable with, I'm good. I'll be like, okay, let me just get back to you and I'll give you an estimate. And then, get my order and then I'm good. Okay. Now, the other thing is that, like I said, I'm more flexible. All right. I'm more willing to take those other type of orders that someone that is just comfortable in their little zone probably won't. And I'm always learning because, like I said, the customers bring the challenges to me, right? Like when that business came to me and said, "Hey, we got 30 puff jackets for you to embroider." Okay. I was like, okay, 30 puff jackets. All right. So that's a learning process, right? So I'm like, all right, let me do one first and see how I'm actually going to do this. So to me, I love the customization for the simple fact that it makes you think. And that's another thing too. Okay. Custom embroidery is not for those that are lazy. I'm going to be honest with you. Okay. Don't get mad. All right. But if you are not one of those that like to do their homework, take the time to really study what the customer wants, the material, the fabric, and you're not a planner, then you need to stick with the retail, okay? Because every single custom order that comes to the door, you best believe you're gonna have to do your homework, okay? You're gonna have to look at the fabric that they want you to embroider on. You're gonna have to plan on how you're going to embroider their logo, what kind of weight threads you're going to use, the different needles, the different stabilizers, and all that stuff, how you're going to hoop it and everything. All that has to be planned up front. Okay. So it's a process. And this is the downside about custom embroidery. It takes a long time. It does. Okay. Because like I said, I got to sit down. I got to talk to this customer. I got to find out what they really want. I have to test stitch those designs. Okay. Once I test stitch those designs and it gets approved and everything, then the stuff starts coming in. But at the meantime, I also have to make sure that I know what type of stabilizer I'm going to use, what type of, like I said, threads, needle sizes, all that good stuff. Okay. So it is more time consuming. It's a process. Okay. But I'm going to tell you something. It's a process that I love. And the reason why I love it is because it's challenging. So I look at that as an opportunity for me to grow and really build on my skill set. You are not going to build on your embroidery skill set by doing the same thing all the time. Okay. It's not. And I'm going to be honest, it really depends on what it is that you want to get out of this experience in embroidery. Okay. Some people are very comfortable just doing simple designs and it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. Because it all depends on you and what it is that you want to get out of it. Other people love the challenge. Okay. They love the challenge. So they don't mind doing it. Now, are there times when people have come to me with custom embroidery and I turned it down? Absolutely. Yes. Because I saw how complicated it was. And I told myself, you know what? I don't want to take that risk. Okay. Because sometimes you just don't know. So there's just so much that goes into custom embroidery. Okay. So that's why, in a way, a lot of people do shy away from that type of embroidery. Okay. um you get on greater risks. Okay, first of all, your reputation is on the line. Okay, you guys have always heard me say that everything that comes out of this studio right here, okay, that comes out of this shop, it's got to be top notch. I don't mess around. I just don't mess around, because I tell people, when you wear that shirt with that logo that I embroidered on there, that thing's talking about me. Okay. I may not be there. All right. But it's going to be talking about me, because if anyone asks, wow, that's nice embroidery, who did that work? They're going to recommend me, because that is good quality work. Now, you do a crappy job and they're wearing that outside. I mean, believe me, they're going to know who did the crappy work. Okay. So you want to make sure that you know what you're doing. So it is risky. It is risky. You guys saw the video where $2,000 down the toilet, boop, on that order. Okay. I messed up big time. I did mess up. Okay. But you know what? Lesson learned. Okay. I will never, ever work exhausted like that again. Never. Okay. If I'm tired, I will let that customer know I need more days. I will never do it. Lesson learned. So the risks can be really, really big. So you have to be willing to take those risks. Okay. You have to be willing. But this is the thing, you're not going to grow if you don't take the risk. Okay. And and let me tell you, when we're talking about taking these risks, I don't mean go out there and take the biggest risk like I did in that order. Okay. I took that risk, but the thing is, I've been doing this for a long, long time. Okay. And that was really just a stupid, dumb mistake that I made. Really stupid mistake. Okay. I should have known better. I definitely should have known better. Okay. So I have no one to blame but me for that. Okay. No one to blame. But the thing is, you take small risks. Take the small risks. Okay. That way you can start building. Okay. And know what you're doing. Okay. And stuff. And then before you know it, you will excel. But that's if you want to do the custom embroidery. If you don't want to do it and it's not your thing, don't do it. Don't do it. Because at the end of the day, guys, honestly, it's about you doing what's going to make you happy. Okay. If you love doing the retail embroidery, then do it. Nothing wrong with it. Just do it. Enjoy the process. Okay. And then as time goes on, if you want to explore and venture out, then explore and venture out. Okay. I, on the other hand, I do the custom embroidery for the simple fact that, I got to finish Carlito in school. Okay. So, and he is going to graduate debt free. I ain't messing around. I do not want my son graduating with college debt. So everything that I make here, okay, in my shop and everything like that goes to fund him, so that, I know that he's going to be okay. After that, I'll probably be retired and I'm going to be on fixed income. So this will probably be like my hangout money. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, like I said, it depends on what it is that you want. Okay. The other thing is, like I said, orders can be complicated. Okay. I have had custom orders that are really, really super simple. Okay. Where the logos are so small and it's one color and maybe it's one name, very simple design. But then I have had custom orders that are like super complicated. Okay. Like a huge patch with like 4 or 5 different colors. I have to use different needles, different weights. I have to double up on the stabilizer. And then the hooping can be kind of complicated sometimes as well. So, you got to, and the thing is, think about it. When you do custom embroidery, okay, you have to think of all these things that I'm talking to you guys about when you are pricing your items. That's why I always say custom embroidery is really very, very profitable, because of all these things that you have to take account. Believe me, it goes into the price. So embroidery is expensive. Okay. First of all, it's expensive for the person that's doing it. And it's also expensive for the person that's ordering it. Okay. Embroidery is a luxury item. Okay. If you want something that's on the cheap side or whatever, then you need to go to ink or, vinyl and stuff like that. And I'm not saying those are too cheap either. Okay. Because the ink is expensive when you look at sublimation and all that kind of stuff. Though that equipment costs money, and the ink to those machines costs money as well. But they are a little bit more on the affordable side than for embroidery. Embroidery takes longer to do, okay? And the quality is a lot better because embroidery usually lasts as long as the actual item, okay? The same life of the item, all right? Like I said, also, the creative process always changing. Okay, every single customer that you get that comes up to you and says, "Hey, I need some type of embroidery done," you best believe that the one that comes right behind them, totally different order. It's not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same. Totally different logos, different research you got to do, and everything like that. So you got to start all over and stuff. You are going to get more customers, though. That is a big pro about custom embroidery. Okay, when people find out that you can actually do custom embroidery, those floodgates open up, especially small business owners and stuff like that, because they need those polo shirts. They need their business logos on their shirts and everything like that. Okay, so that is like really, really, really super like hot. Okay, so small business owners will look for you. You will have people that when they find out that you do custom embroidery, even for gifts, okay, sometimes they will like some custom gifts and they will want to bring products to you so that you can do some type of different design of embroidery for them and everything. So that is pretty big. So I am telling you, the customers, you will get them. They fly in. The only downside, though, is because these are custom orders. You better know what you're doing. Honestly, I cannot emphasize that more. If you are not sure of how that's going to come out, my advice, and I know that some of you guys may come on and go, "I can't believe she said that," but don't take the order. Just don't. And I want to share with you guys why. Okay, that one order that you screw up can really screw your business up. It really, really, truly can. And I'm going to tell you, your reputation is on the line with every product that comes out of your business. Okay. Custom embroidery included. Okay. You have to really pray that, that you have a really good understanding customer. Okay. That one order that I screwed up, I still have a very good reputation for the simple reason that I bought back the bags and all that kind of stuff and everything. And, the customer was made whole. They didn't lose anything. Okay. They got what they wanted and stuff like that. However, though, me as a business owner, I lost. I took a big hit financially because I had to, replace it and stuff. But that's okay. That's part of the game. That's the risk. All right. But the thing is, what I want to really emphasize is that the last thing you want to do, is, you have to make it right. First of all, you're going to have to make it right. And you got to make sure that you can make it right, that you can afford to make it right. Make sure you understand that risk that you're getting into, because at the end of the day, when you are done and that product walks out of your shop, it's going to represent you. And you need to make sure that you got your stuff nice and tight, because if not, people are not going to want to use your services. People are going to not recommend your services, and people talk, And honestly, people are not really as understanding either, okay? Especially when it comes to certain things. So you want to make sure that you are on top of your game, okay? Um, let's see. The thing also is that I really truly love about the custom embroidery is it is risky, but I will tell you, you expand your knowledge and you learn. You really, really learn different types of ways to embroider, different types of fabric, how to deal with them, how to stabilize them, how to hoop them correctly. I mean, you really do learn, okay? Now, the other thing that's pretty on the downside is the supply side. Now, you know, you guys have always heard me say embroidery is not for those that are light in the pocketbook. They really isn't, because, you know, you start off with a little machine, then you start off with a little bit, a box of thread, and then maybe a pack of stabilizer. You start playing around with it, and you're like, oh my God, this is like so cool. But as you start to get into the world of embroidery, you end up finding out that it isn't just about one pack of stabilizer, and it's not just about one pack of thread, okay? And it ain't about just one size needle. So then you really, as you start to explore different things about embroidery, that's when you start learning, oh crap, I need to buy different types of hoops. Oh crap, I got to buy different weight uh different weight thread, different size needles. Now I got to buy this. Now I got to buy that. And then before you know it, you're like, this is expensive. Okay. So if you're a retail embroiderer, okay, and all you do is the same stuff over and over and over and over again, it's going to be cheaper, okay, because you're just producing the same products, right? So what you have is what you're going to continuously use. But when you do custom embroidery, totally different ball game, okay? Because when somebody comes with me with a logo, okay, sometimes logos, they can have all these different colors in them, and then I have to look at the design, and then I say, okay, there's like a burgundy in the design, and you know, I'm gonna have to stitch this part of the design with 60 weight thread. So I have to go out there and I have to look for 60 weight thread in the color burgundy. And then maybe I have to get 60 weight thread in the color green. And then I have to see what color do I need in 40 weight thread. So the thing is, they come to you with the logo, and the logos have all these different colors. You have to make sure you match those colors precisely, not close. It has to be precisely, because you got to remember, businesses are very particular about their business logos. So you can't just come out and say, oh, I don't have the bright red. I have a burgundy. So I'm just going to use burgundy. No, it doesn't work like that. Not when you do custom embroidery for a business, okay? You got to use their official colors. So what ends up happening is when you do custom embroidery, right, you're going to have to invest in the threads that you need for that order. You're going to have to invest to make sure you have the proper needle sizes, the proper stabilizer. You're also probably going to have to look around and say, do I have the right hoops to be able to hoop the product correctly so I could stick it on my machine, okay? So there's a lot of more expense that goes into custom embroidery, which is why when people ask for custom embroidery, it costs more, okay? Because the thing is, if I don't have something in stock, if the colors they need isn't in stock, well, guess what? I got to order thread, right? You know, I don't have that type of needle. I got to order the needle. You know, I got to order the hoop size and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things that goes into it. So custom embroidery, very, very, very expensive. Okay. But retail embroidery, much more economical, for the simple fact that when you're doing your designs, you already know what colors you're going to use. And they're your designs. Okay. So let's say that you ran out of red and you say, you know what, I'm going to change up the design. I don't want to use red. I want to use blue. All right, so you just change, you create it with the color blue, and then you take a new picture and you put your listing out there, and that's what people are going to buy. right? So you don't have to go crazy and stuff like that. And you already know how you're going to stabilize it. You already got the hoops and all that kind of stuff. So it's so much simpler and it's more economical if you do retail embroidery than if you were to do custom embroidery. Custom embroidery, it's really much more complicated. Okay. Now, the thing also is you're going to make a lot of mistakes. You do make mistakes. Now, this is going to depend on your mindset and how you determine what a mistake is. Okay. I like to look at mistakes and I consider them learning opportunities. Okay. That's how I see mistakes. I don't mind messing up at all, not even at my job. If I make a mistake, I'll be like, I screwed up. Okay, so what? All right, so now I know for the next time that I gotta like do spell check or whatever, right? So what ends up happening is as you make mistakes, you have to look at that mistake and find out what happened. What happened? Did I use the wrong stabilizer? Did I use the wrong threads? Did I use the wrong weight? Strong needle? Did I not take the time that I needed to hoop correctly? That's what happened to me. Okay. I was so tired that I was just like smacking it on and putting it on the machine, thinking that I was just eyeballing it instead of using the ruler like I should have. Okay. Hey, expensive mistake, but I tell you what, I learned. Give me another backpack. See if I will get that one wrong. Okay. No, it'll be perfect the next time around. So, to me, it's like you're going to make the mistakes. Okay. So, but you have to, like I said, look at the risk and see, is this something that I can risk? Can I replace this product if I screw it up? Okay. And stuff. Now, some people run their embroidery business a little different. Okay. Some people ask people to actually sign a waiver. I don't do that. And I'm going to tell you why I don't like that method. It's not for me. Okay. First of all, if somebody comes to me with a product and I'm going to tell them, okay, I'll put it in the machine, but if I screw it up, it's not my fault. But then you're going to be out of a product. I don't like that. For the simple fact, the customer didn't put in the machine, you did. The customer didn't stabilize it, you did. The customer didn't pick the thread or the needle or anything like that. That was you. You did it. Okay. You took the job. So to me, I look at it as this. This is what I always tell the customers. I will look at what they want to embroider. Okay. If I know for a fact I can do it, then I'm going to do it. Do the things happen? Absolutely. That's what I got my Peggy Stitch eraser for. Okay. Then I will undo that embroidery and I will fix it. If I can't fix it, one of the things I always do ask, and I always have this conversation before I start any type of order. Okay. Where did you get this from? Because if I mess it up, I'm going to replace it for you. Okay. I'll replace it. Where did you get it? And that's it. That's how I do it. Or if I mess it up, would it be fine if I put a patch over it or something like that? And this is how it would look and stuff like that. Have those conversations with your customers. You got to have them. You're human. You're human. You're going to make mistakes. Crap happens. It happens all the time. Okay. But the thing is, when you don't have the conversations with your customers and you don't lay the expectations on the table and you don't talk about the crappy situation of what if something goes wrong, how are we going to resolve it? Okay. Because I want it to be a win-win situation for both parties. Okay. I don't want my customers walking away like I just screwed up their stuff. Okay. And I don't want the customer to walk away and talk bad about me. All right. So I'd rather have that tough conversation right there before I turn those machines on as to, okay, if something goes wrong, how do you feel about us resolving it this way? You have that conversation and it's good. I'm just saying. Some people say, nope, I want the customer to take all the risk, and that's fine. And they have them sign a waiver. If the customers are willing to do that, then that's on them. I don't ask the customers to sign a waiver on it because I don't think it's fair to the customer because they're not the one that stuck it in the machine. I did. So I just wouldn't do that. Okay. And then this is the other thing too. It's like, it's like, I don't know. I just feel funny about it. It's just not my thing. It's not like, I, it's not me. It's just not me. It's not how I roll. So anyway, but each his own, right? Okay. The other thing also about custom embroidery, okay, that is a kind of like a con, is the timing. It is pretty difficult to schedule, which is why I told you guys I went and I created a calendar. I have an embroidery calendar and I schedule my orders in there. Okay. So I schedule them. So I know how long it's going to take for me to do a particular order. And I have to say, I actually put buffing space in there too. I know I can finish the order a lot quicker, but sometimes I'll add more time on there just in case. You never know. I might need a break. I might be too tired or something. Or what if I screw up a product and I have to replace it and stuff like that, right? So I always like to always schedule my orders. When you have custom embroidery, it is a little more difficult because, I keep saying, no two custom embroidery orders are the same. You might have a design that'll stitch out in like 10 minutes, and then you might have a design that's going to stitch out in an hour. So you have to, you really have to look at how much time you need allocated in order to do that custom order. As if when you do a retail embroidery style, right, you're always pumping out these things, right? Like I do the kitchen towels on my Etsy shop. I know exactly how long it takes to create one of those kitchen towels. Okay, like the back of my hand, I could just snap it out, hoop it, pop it in, hit that button, go. It's done. Okay, I already know how to do it. I know how to schedule it. It's not a problem. Okay, very easy to schedule those. So that's why during Christmas time, it's like, poof, that's easy to do. All right. But the thing is, when you have custom embroidery orders, that's different. That's different because it's not just how to do one. Sometimes you got bulk orders. Okay. I have people that come to me sometimes with 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay. I mean, and I had one with the wedding over 100 dinner napkins. Okay. So I mean, we're talking bulk order. So that's going to take a very long time. So I have to schedule that. And then I have to really plan. Am I going to use all my 3 machines, or am I just going to use 2 machines? Because remember, if I use all 3 machines on one order, that means all my other orders are waiting. Okay. Because I can't have one machine working on 2. Right. So I have to really, really plan well and organize and think about how I'm going to process these orders. So there's a lot that goes behind the thought process. Okay. I already talked about the materials. I talked about how they can get kind of really expensive and stuff like that. And this is another thing too that you have to think about also. This is a pretty big one that I put down, the differences between a retail embroiderer and a unique custom embroiderer. Okay. When you do retail embroidery, you really don't have a lot of interaction with your customers, right? You already know what you're offering them. It's pretty simple. It's like, do you want it personalized or not? Do you want it or not? And that's it, right? When you do custom embroidery, totally different ballgame. You got to have a conversation with that customer. I mean, a real conversation. And I'm not talking about a 5-minute either, okay? Because a lot of times people come on and say, "Oh, it's not gonna, I don't like to deal with people." Well, if you don't want to deal with people, don't do custom embroidery, because let me tell you something, you're going to deal with people, okay? You're going to have to spend time with those customers to really understand what it is that they need and they want, okay? Then you're going to have to spend time to make sure that they are picking the right thread for their project. Then you have to have a discussion with them, okay, about how long it's going to take. Then you have to really do this test stitch out. You got to show them the test stitch out. Then you want to come out and you want to tell them, hey, do you like it? Or if they don't, then you might have to make modifications, go back and forth a little bit. And then, I mean, it's a whole thing. It's a process, right? And you want to keep that customer involved throughout the process, because at the end of the day, you want to make sure they're happy with what they got. Okay, especially when you're charging these custom prices. Okay, my prices are not cheap. They truly are not, especially when it comes to the custom side. Okay, they are not cheap. Okay, I charge for my time and stuff. So it's really, really important to me that, knowing the amount that these folks are paying for, I want to make sure they get every dollar and every penny's worth. When they get the product, I want them to go, wow. I want them to go, this is beautiful. This is nice. Okay, I'm happy. That's what I want to hear from them. Okay, so that is really, really, really important to me. So, you really have to understand that. It's like when you just do the retail embroidery and stuff, it could be a pro to you that you don't have that human interaction, because maybe you just don't want to. Maybe it's not your thing, right? Can it be tiring to do unique embroidery and have that customer interaction? Oh yeah, I have customers that, for the life of them, they cannot pick the color. They cannot pick the color. I show them the chart and they sit there and they're scratching their head and they're like, oh, I like this red and I like that one, but this one looks a little too dark. This one's a little too bright. I don't know. I think this thread is too shiny. Do you have another one? Can I look at this brand? Or what about the nanny threads? Or is that the candle thread? Or, is that the brother thread? How about the Madeira? Let me see that red. I mean, they just keep going back and forth, back and forth. Now, do I ever think in my head, come on, just pick a color? Absolutely. Absolutely. Who doesn't? Okay, especially after like 20 minutes, I'm like, pick it. Okay, and sometimes I do have to go in and assist and help them, right? And say, hey, maybe this way, and try to guide them. Okay, because you got to remember, some of them sometimes they really don't know, right? And then I do like to have the conversation with them, and I like to discuss the process and tell them how it works, all the work that's involved and all that kind of stuff. And I simply do that because they need to know what they're paying for. Okay, a lot of times people think it's just sticking it in a machine and pressing a button. No, it's not. How wrong you are. There's a lot of work behind that. So you want to make sure they understand that. They want, you want them to know what they're paying for. Okay, so that is really, really important. So as you can see, there is a lot of pros and cons between both different types of styles of embroidery, of doing an embroidery business. In some sections in the retail, you have your good and your bad. And then also in the custom side, you have your good and your bad as well. But it depends on your comfort level at the end of the day. I think a lot of people, when they first start doing embroidery, okay, and then they say, oh, I want to start selling embroidery, a lot of them do that on the retail side at first. Okay, they do that first because it really is the easiest way to sell embroidery. Okay, is making your own designs and making very small modifications, because it's more economical, okay, for you as a business owner to use that type of style. It's also less time consuming. Okay, you have less interaction with people. It's really just, this is what I offer, take it or leave it. But like I said, you do have your downside. You got to make sure that what you're offering people want, and that the designs are designs that people desire. But then there's a lot of advantages on the custom side that I discussed, but there's also a lot of disadvantages on the custom side as well. So, and it depends on your risk level. What are you willing to do? What kind of risk are you willing to take? So there's a lot of pros and cons to both. Okay. Me personally, I actually do enjoy custom embroidery a lot. I have to admit, actually enjoy that a lot better than doing retail embroidery. I don't mind the retail embroidery, okay? I do very well on that side as well, but I take more personal satisfaction on the custom side because I love the challenge, okay? Like I said, there's always a new type of design that comes my way, a different idea, a different type of product for me to embroider on. I thrive on that. I love challenge. I love, looking at things, trying to figure them out and stuff like that. I do that even at my job. I look for things that are broken and I love to fix it. And I like to see progress, right? I'm one of those that I don't know. I just love challenges. I love risks. So, and it's my personality, actually. It's just who I am. So, but some people aren't. Some people are not risk takers, okay? And that's okay. It's okay, but like I said, you have to find your comfort level in what you like to do within the world of an embroidery business, and then you just have to go with that. But I really, to me, being custom embroiderer, I find it to be extremely profitable because I really have been able to really do very, very well financially doing custom embroidery work for a lot of business owners, and even custom gifts and all that kind of stuff and everything. So it really does help your skill levels grow. But but if you just don't want to do it, it's fine. It's fine. They're both profitable and stuff like that. So guys, I hope you liked today's topic. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up. And I'm going to go down the chat. I hope everybody is doing really, really good. I see that my sister is on the line, and I always keep grabbing the mouse of my iMac, and I'm actually talking to you guys from my MacBook and stuff. So I'm going to go down the chat and answer any questions that you guys may have, or and tell me what type of embroidery do you like? Do you like being the retail embroiderer, or do you like being the custom embroiderer? And what are your thoughts on the stuff that I shared? Do you guys agree about my pros and my cons of the both different types, or do you guys disagree and stuff like that? Just let me know. Because I'm here to learn too. So hey Peggy, how are you? I see Susan, I see Becky. Hey Deborah, how are you? I see Iris, Kathy. How are you? Arlene, Jackie, Cindy, Sassy, Buff Chicky, how are you? Hey Jenny, Robin's Quilt Basket. Karen, how are you? Hey Guinea, how are you? Let's see. Hey Christina, how you doing? Ozzy, how are you? J Love, Jenny, how are you? Kim, Baby Giant Services, how you doing? Unbiased LLC, how are you? Hey Tammy, how are you? Hey Faith, how you doing? Hey Annette, how you doing? Extremely cold in here in Connecticut. Well, I'm gonna tell you something. I am here in Haymarket, Virginia, and we are supposed to be getting snow. And right now, nothing's happening. Okay, so you know how the weatherman always comes on and says there's snow. I love snow. I love the seasons, the different seasons. All my family is in Florida. My sister is in Florida. My mom's in Florida. They love the sun. Okay, I am like so different from my family sometimes. I feel like I'm like the black sheep of the family, but I love all the seasons. Okay, so I can never see myself retire in Florida, but the simple fact, I really love the seasons. I would miss the snow. So I'm like right now excited because we're supposed to get snow, and I just love looking at it when it's falling down. And I have a front porch, and I already have plans to put my coat on and just sit in my front porch and just watch the snow come down. I mean, that to me is so relaxing and stuff. And I'll probably take Bello out there with me. So I'm looking forward to it. I think we're supposed to get 3 or 4 inches, but I don't know. We'll see. Sometimes the weatherman kind of screws up and we don't get squat, so I'll be like, but we'll see. and stuff. So, hey, and Nevelyn, how you doing? Hey, Eartha, Angela, and Stitches, how you doing? Hey, Miss Shirley, how are you? I see Maki, makeover. Snow is coming. Yes, it is. Hey, Miss Max. Hey, Alyssa. Hey, Marsha. Lady Gwen, how are you doing? Let's see. Hey, Nana, how are you? Let's see. Hey, Eartha, how you doing? I don't see. Angela says, gee, Jeanette. You really do your homework. Thanks for sharing your knowledge. I've also learned a lot about thread weights from you. Oh, Angela Stitches, you're very welcome and stuff. That's really why I started the channel, is because I really like teaching people. I know that there are a lot of people out there that really want to learn how to do embroidery and stuff like that. The embroidery happy hours, I always like to use them as educational sessions. So that way I can share knowledge and stuff like that. And I know a lot of people also not only like embroidery, but sometimes have thoughts about starting their own embroidery business for whatever reason. Sometimes as a little side hustle, or a little extra income, or some folks are retired, or God, I hope not, but some people may have lost a job or something like that, and they're kind of like, oh God, I have to find another way to make money and stuff. Embroidery is very profitable, and I just really like to share the business side of embroidery, different techniques of embroidery. I really like to share everything, because you never know who you're helping out there, right? You just never know. So, but I'm really glad that you're finding all the information valuable and that it's helping. I'm really glad, because that means a lot to me. And so, hey, Karen, how are you? Oh, hey, Miss Miller, received the Mighty Hoops plus the 3 today. I submitted my trade name to the state. Oh, congratulations. You're going to love that, because I love the Mighty Hoop, the starter kit. It's usually like the hooping station and stuff. That's what she's talking about. Use it all the time. There is not one project that I do not use that. I use that to hoop my dinner napkins, my kitchen towels, shirts, jackets, everything. You guys have seen my videos. You see me use it all the time. I mean, it's so worth the money. Let's see. Hey, Felicia, how are you? I'm going down the chat. Hey, Miss Williams, how you doing? Hey, Janice, how are you? Oh, she's Miss Fade. I bought my Mighty Hoops Home Edition to do my shirts on the SC 1900 for the American region. Saved me so much time. They're all identical. Sure worth it. I knew it. Yes, Faith. Yes. And you know what's funny is, I know a lot of people shy away from buying certain things, right? The thing is, like, especially when you have a single needle machine, I'm sure Faith knows, when these types of third-party products, like the hooping station for the SC 1900 and the hooping station for the multi-needle machines, they are really, really good, because they really do help speed up the process a lot, especially hooping products. I mean, when you use the Mighty Hoops or the magnetic hoops, there are so many benefits to using certain products like that, because when you have the Mighty Hoops, you don't have too much hoop burn. Regular hoops, you have to be very careful, because sometimes you can have hoop burn. Sometimes it can really overstretch a product and stuff. But those hooping stations really, really do make a difference on how to hoop things and stuff. Now, if you guys don't know what she is talking about, I do have a video on the channel that's called the in-depth review of the hooping station for the SC 1900. If you guys were to see that, I actually demonstrate how you could use that product if you want to hoop like baby onesies, shirts, and all that kind of stuff and everything. So some of this stuff is pricey, but like we always say, embroidery is not for those that are light in the pocket. And the thing is, if you really want your items to really come out nice, you're going to have to invest. You really are. I mean, you do without it? You can, but the thing is, you're going to be spending a lot more time hooping it right. I mean, and hooping it in this exact same spot is going to be a little difficult and stuff like that. So just something to think about. But Miss Faith, I'm really glad though that you do like it and stuff. I really do highly recommend it and stuff. Oh, and Angela and Stitches too. She even says that I love the mighty hoops. They make embroidery so much easier. They really, really do. They really do. They really help the process. They really do. I cannot stress it enough. I use it all the time. And in fact, you know what's sad is my embroidery machines came with the regular embroidery hoops, right? I have them all stacked and they're in the closet, and I don't use them. I don't use them because I just love the mighty hoops. I think they're simple, fast. They always come out perfect. I don't have to mess around with anything. So I truly, truly love them. They're really big. Let me see. Oh, Buffy Cheek. Took me 30 minutes to hoop a t-shirt. I'm practicing because tomorrow I'll embroider my second design ever. The design will have at least 3 colors. I'll show it to you on the Facebook group. Oh, that'd be so cool. Yes, definitely show it to us. Oh, and Marlene, I get so nervous to get an order. I have to take lots of breath. Pricing is the hardest for me, especially when you don't have enough info from the client. That's when you have to have those conversations and stuff, Marlene. I'm serious. And I'm gonna be very, very honest with you. Being nervous is okay. It is okay. Okay. I would be lying to you guys if I came out and said I don't get nervous. Okay. I do. I still get nervous. Okay. And I've been doing this for years. Okay. And I have done so many different custom orders. The reason is because you got to remember every custom order is unique. It's not all the same. Okay. So when people come to you and say, hey, can you do this for me? You're going to get nervous because you're going to be like, this is what goes through my mind. Oh my God, what do they want? Like, okay, what design, what do they want? Then I have to look at it. And then when I look at it, my nerves will either do one or two things. I will get either more nervous, okay, or I come on and go, oh, okay, I've done this type of embroidery before. I got this. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about it because, and this is the thing too, Marlene, don't take orders. Do not start orders because that's one thing that I noticed that you put in your comment, especially when you don't have enough info from the client. Do not start the order if you don't have all the 411. If they did not give you all the information, do not even start the order. As a matter of fact, don't even give them a price, okay? You should have all that information first. Once you have that information, that is when you can start. Without it, don't do it. I'm serious. I am serious because this is the thing. If they give you half information and then you start to do the order, 2 things are going to happen. You're either going to price the item wrong, okay, and you're going to underprice it, because you're thinking that you have to, that you're probably thinking, oh, it's probably a 5-minute stitch. And then it ends up being a half-hour stitch. Okay. Or, oh, I just need 1 color thread. And the next thing you know, you got all these different colors that you have to do. Oh, I just need to embroider. I just need to hoop a particular product. Then they come to you with all these other different styles. And then you're like, what's up? So it's like, the information has to come first. Always. Okay. That's why I tell you guys, never price right away. Never price right away. Know exactly what you are embroidering on. Know exactly what is involved in the details of that design. know or exactly how long it's going to take for you to stitch it out. All that information has to come first. After you get all that information, that is when you can sit down, and that's when you can come on and say, okay, this is how much I'm going to charge for it. Okay. And then at the same time, when you tell that customer the price, which a lot of times, my price can be a little high. All right. But the thing is, that's why I like having those conversations with the customer. First, I have to gather all the requirements. Then, after I gather all the requirements and I get all the information and I calculate my price, I have another conversation with that customer and I let them know this is how much it's going to cost and this is why. Because you have so many different color changes, because your design requires different weight threads, because your design is in these details, I'm going to have to slow down the machine. Okay. That's another thing. Okay. Think about it. Customization. Okay. If you have a logo and you have different weights and you have different needle sizes, there's going to be certain sections in that design that you can probably go top speed. And then there's going to be certain sections you might have to slow that machine down. And if you have to slow down the machine down, what does that mean? That means that it's in the machine longer. And if it's in that machine's longer, then guess what? That's your time. That's your time. That means that machine is working. Okay, so you got to charge for that. Okay, so you got to make sure you incorporate all that in your price. And this is the other thing too, guys, that I find a lot of times I see that some people they undercharge because they're afraid that the customer is going to say, "Oh, that's too much money." And then they're going to not want to place the order. I'm going to tell you something right up front. Okay, that you guys are probably going to be like, "Ooh." If you offer a price that you know is fair to you and the customer, and that customer think it's too high, let them walk away. That is not the order you want to take. That is not the customer you want. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay. You don't work for free. You don't work for free. And you got to make sure that you can stand behind your work, and you don't want nobody to ever make you feel disrespected. Do not underprice your items out of fear. I see that a lot. A lot of people get scared that they're going to lose an order. You know what? Not every order is a good order. Okay? Let them take someone else as the sucker. You don't have to be the sucker. Okay? If you can't, if you know that the price you gave them is fair, and you know that you explained to them the whole process, so they have an idea that it's not just sticking it in the machine and pressing a button, okay? And they don't want to pay you what you're worth, let them walk away. I am serious about that. I really, truly am. Let them walk away. Let them go and find somebody else that will do the work for $5. It doesn't have to be you. Okay? Don't do it. And I'm going to tell you something. Two things will happen if you do it. Okay? First of all, it's going to mess with your self-esteem. That means you're not confident. Know your worth. The second thing that's going to happen is that you're underpricing. You think that person that got that great deal isn't going to let other people know how cheap your pricing is? You don't think people are going to come out and say, "Oh my God, she doesn't know how to price her items, so I'm going to go to her." And then other people are going to come and take advantage of you. They're going to take advantage of your skill set. Do you think that that's going to be fair to you? I'm just saying. Think about it. I mean, you're doing this because you want to do it. You're doing it because you enjoy doing it. But make sure that what you're doing is not going to hurt you. Okay, there's a lot of jerks out in this world. Everybody wants something for nothing. I'm telling you, I bumped into them. I have. And I have no problem telling somebody, I think it's best you go somewhere else. I'm good with that. No skin off of my back. But I am not going to let anybody step up and tell me that I'm not worth what I know I am. Okay? I'm not about robbing people. Okay? My prices are fair. I make sure they're aware of that. I want to not only give them a fair price, because it's not there, I'm not there to take all their money. That's not what I'm about. But at the same time, I'm not there for you to take advantage of. So don't do that. And I see people do that all the time. All the time I see people do that. They underprice their stuff out, and it's not, some I notice do it because they just don't know how to price it correctly, right? So it's a trial and error thing, and that's okay. I mean, you're going to learn, right? But I have noticed that some people do it out of fear. They do it because they are afraid that the customer is going to walk out. And I'm telling you, that's not a bad thing. Okay? Not every customer that goes through your door should be a customer. It's okay for you to say, okay, go somewhere else. I've done it. It's fine. And let me tell you something. To me, it's empowering, because that told me, I'm like, I will not allow you or anyone else to take advantage of me. That's just how I am. My sister will tell you, I've never been, I mean, she even says it. I think, what was it? I think it was sometime last year. I remember me and her were talking in the car, and she was like, you're so black, like vocal. I never back down. I don't back down. It's just on my personality. Even at work, I don't back down. I see something wrong, I speak up. It's just who I am. That's my build. But I refuse to allow somebody to try to devalue me or my work. And I really strongly recommend, please, guys, please, please, please don't allow people to do that to you with anything in life. Seriously. So anyway, I know I got a little soapbox and I'm over here like trying to lecture or whatever. And I don't mean to do that, but it's just, it's just something that I just want to share with you guys, because I think that's like so super important. It really, really, truly is. And I don't want anybody out there to ever like, feel like they have to lower their prices and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like I said, if somebody wants to do embroidery for $1, let them do it for $1. Okay, don't let it be you, unless this is something that you want to do, that you don't mind doing it as gifts and stuff like that. Then that's fine. I mean, but my whole thing is, as a business, remember, this is your business. You run it, not them. Okay. And if they find that your prices are too high, then it's okay. I mean, they can go somewhere else. It's fine. You do have to be competitive. Yes, you do. But at the same time, you're not embroidering for free. So that's what I got to say about that. Anyway, I know I said a lot. Okay. So, hey, Cynthia, how you doing? Oh, thank you. You're an amazing one. Oh, thanks. I love it. Debt free. Yeah, I don't want my son in debt. There's so many college students that graduate from college and all they have is debt on their shoulders. I don't want that for Carlito. I want him to be able to build a future. That's just how I see it. And even when I went to college, I graduated debt free. Also, it took me a long time to retire, to graduate, but that's because I paid cash for my college education. So, yeah. Buffy said, "I'm gonna be a retail chick, and of course, do things for family and friends. I'm retired. The money I make from this is to fund my old age home." Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, and this is the thing too. I was thinking even to myself, Buff Chicky, that maybe, when Carlito's done with school and everything, I can slow down. Actually, I can slow down, and I was thinking I could focus more on maybe the channel and stuff like that. Maybe slow down on the business side a little bit and just embroider just to do embroidery for me, I may end up slowing down myself. I don't know. We'll see, because I'll be on a fixed income, with a lot of time. Hey, to be young, gifted black, how are you? Hey, Becky, let me see. Do you have estimate forms that you fill out to compute your estimate? I do have. I have a little cheat sheet that I use when I am taking custom orders. Oh, I don't know where it is right now. Had it all laminated and stuff. I do have a cheat sheet where I calculate how much stabilizers are going to cost, how much I'm going to charge for embroidery, for thread, how much I'm charging for my time, hooping, and all that kind of stuff. If you look at some of the videos where I talk about pricing, I do, Becky, tell you guys how to build those sheets. I have had several people that asked me, can I share my sheet? I won't do that, and I'm going to tell you guys why, okay? Every state is different, okay? Everyone has their different, some places have a higher cost of living than others and stuff like that. And at the same time, everybody buys different supplies. They pay different prices for their supplies. So what I recommend that you do is when you watch those videos where I talk about pricing, write down the categories that I mentioned, and then you fill in the blanks as to how much you paid per item and stuff. And then you can go ahead and start calculating how much, you should be charging and stuff like that. So, and there's different ways that people do it. You just have to find what works for you. Like I said, if you do retail, embroidery, that is probably going to be very more simple because you kind of have your costs down pat. You already know how much time it takes, and what you need and everything. The custom side of embroidery is where it is a lot more expensive for the simple fact that, and it's more complicated because, like I said, it's custom work, right? So everything you're doing a lot of homework. And I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of people out there that don't like doing custom embroidery because of that, because there is just so much homework that goes into it, a lot of upfront work. And people don't want to do that. And they're like, that's a lot of time consuming and all that kind of stuff. So they just don't want to even bother with it. So, it's a little touchy, right? So it really depends on, I always say, your tolerance level. Okay. Like I said, some people like to deal with people, other people don't. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm not always chippery either. Okay. I have a very full schedule. Okay. I get up at, 3:00 in the morning. I'm at work at 5:30 in the morning. I don't get home till like 4:30, and then I have to work in the embroidery business. So, and then when I'm done my orders here, I go to bed to get up at 3. And then on the weekends, I work. So it's like my husband said, he's like, you don't take any time off. And I don't. I really don't. It's a good thing because I do like what I do, but then it's a bad thing because there are times when I can start feeling myself getting a little burnt out. And in those times, I kind of like stop and turn off all the machines, and I grab my gym bag, and then I'll go to the gym and I swim a couple of laps and sit in the steam room, but that's my time. So, it is very time consuming. So dealing with customers, you don't want to be like with an attitude or anything, because that's one way to really lose a customer. So, you want to be chippery and you have to be understanding. You got to be patient because you got to remember, they don't know embroidery. Okay. They don't know it. They don't know the process. And when they tell you, I want red thread, they really don't understand that there's 20 different shades of red. Okay. That they can pick from. So there's a lot that goes into it. So you have to be willing to take the time to spend with the customer, to talk to them, get to know them, know their needs, what they're looking for. And one of the things that I do find, and I am going to share, is that I notice that I get a lot of repeat customers. And a lot of the repeat customers that I get is because they like the way that I kind of build a good business relationship with them, because that's really what you're doing when you meet with them. Customers do like that. And, when they get to know you and they know how you work and they know that you explain everything to them, they don't feel like they got robbed, because like I said, my prices are to be fair. Okay. So if the price is a little high, I tell them, because it's very time consuming, and I explain why. Okay. So they understand what they're paying for. So a lot of times I feel that these customers, because of the way I interact with them and because how thorough I am and I'm very detailed, they feel very comfortable. And then what ends up happening is when they see the final product and they like it, they'll come on and say, I know I asked you to do the polo shirts for me. Can you do tote bags for my company? Or can you do duffel bags for my company? And they become repeat customers. And I have a lot of them. They're small business owners and they keep coming back. And, which is good, because you want the repetitive business. But you get that when you build that relationship with them. That is so, so important, because you want to have that. You want them to trust you. They know, they have been up here. Okay. They know how I work. This place is, I love my workspace to be clean. That to me is very, very important. And I think you've heard me say this in the past. Okay. Don't let your customers come into your shop if it's a mess. Some people are very particular about that. They want to know that when they drop off their items, that you're going to care for their items. You're not going to throw their jackets and their shirts on the floor. Okay. I'm very particular about that. I like to make sure that my customers know I'm going to be taking care of your stuff. That's so, so, so important. It really, truly is. So they come up, they see it's clean. They even see how I work. They see where, when sometimes I be working on some of the customers' orders and they visit while I'm working on it. And when they come and visit, they see some of their stuff is on the machines. They also see that on the cutting table, they have their shirts nicely folded. They see that the ones that are done are already in their plastic bags and I already placed it in the box. They don't see their stuff on the floor. I don't throw stuff all over. I don't do that. You want to make sure that people know you care for their items. That's so important. Because I know me, myself, if I had something that was important to me and I gave it to somebody and then I found it on the floor, I would be like, the hell, like, what is up with that? Am I going to get that shirt back dirty? You know what I'm saying? It's like, did they step on it? I mean, think about it. Think about it if it was you. Would you want that? You know what I'm saying? So those little things you got to think about. Okay. So, oh, Iris. Yeah. Carlito knows. That's my son. He knows. I think my son knows I'll take a bullet for him any day. He knows that. Oh, thanks, Miss Shirley. Yes, yes. If you guys like the material that I'm sharing with you guys tonight, please, please, please give me that thumbs up, because it does help the channel a lot. I'm trying to grow it, and I'm really hoping that this channel really gets to help a lot of people out there. I really like to share the information and stuff. So, yeah. Oh, my sister is on. She's late night working. She's another one. She's a workaholic just like me, but I'm ready for the weekend. Let's see. Monday is a holiday. It's your day off. Yes, Monday is a holiday, but you know what's funny though, Buffy chick, even though Monday's a holiday, I got orders I have to pump out, so I'll be working. So there's no holidays in my shop, okay? I'm really like a everyday shop. But it's okay. I mean, I like what I do. So, Let's see. Um, it can be a totally new animal. Custom can be a no-brainer. It is. It's you just never know what type of custom order is coming. And I will tell you this. I have gotten some custom orders that I just don't take. Like I had a lady that came to me with a Louis Vuitton bag. And I know how expensive those bags are because I own a couple. And you're talking about $2,000 and up. And she wanted me to embroider her initials on a Louis Vuitton bag. Absolutely not. I told her you need to go to Louis Vuitton store and maybe they will do it for you. I said no. And she was like, well, if it doesn't work out, don't worry about it. I'm like, no, I will not touch that. Okay. I have had that. Now, I have had some designer bags come in. Like I've had people come with I think there was a designer bag. It started with the letter T, and then I looked it up. It was a $500 bag, and I did it, because and I was like, I can do that because I looked at the material. It was okay, and it came out really nice. And of course I would have took the hit if it messed up. I would have had to pay $500 for that bag, but I was okay with taking that risk. So that's the other thing about the custom embroidery. The way you run your business, you got to make sure that you understand how you're going to take that risk, right? As you saw a couple of weeks ago, I had a really bad risk that I took. Okay, $2,000 hit. So that was like, that I really screwed that one up. But hey, it's part of running a business, right? So it's okay. It'll all work out in the end. Let me see. Another point to your discussion is that people need to be good at multitasking, especially when they have multiple machines working on different things. And that is true. And you have to, I don't care what you're working on. That is another thing too that a lot of times people think. People think that you stick it in the machine, you press a button, you walk away. It's really not like that. Not, maybe for a retail embroiderer because you've done it so much and it's maybe a simple design or something like that. So you can stick it in the machine, you can walk away. But sometimes with some of my custom embroidery, I can't walk away. Okay. And I have to watch these machines and I am standing there and I'm watching, okay, to see if I get any snags or anything like that. And I have to be able to respond and fix that right away. So it can be pretty complicated and stuff. So that's why I say, because sometimes custom embroidery is not really for everybody. You really have to be able to really know what you're doing, and you really have to have that mindset where, okay, I can do this. You know what I mean? It can really get bleh, it can get crazy. um let's see. Reds are crazy. I bought a thread today in the light. It was orange thing, and it's still nice, but it's not red. Yeah, there's so many different shades. There are so many different shades, which is why I would prefer that the customer sits down and looks at the color chart and pick their thread. I also make sure that when they are picking their thread, they're in a very lighted room, or I have like a lamp or something where they can actually look at it, because you got to be careful with this. If you have a customer that's sitting in a room where it's kind of dark, the colors may look a little different, right? It could look a certain way, and then when it hits the light, it's going to look a different way, and then they're going to be like, oh, I didn't know it was going to be that light, or I didn't know it was going to be that type of shade. So you want to make sure that when your customers are looking at the different types of colors, that they're looking at it in a well-lit room, so they know exactly what they are picking. That's another thing that I always tell people. Let's see. Miss Shirley says, one of these people that tend to jump in head first. I've always done custom embroidery business. It's challenging sometimes. I'm seriously thinking about adding retail as my new challenge. Custom, it is. Well, if you, Miss Shirley, have done custom and retailing embroidery, is going to be like, that's nothing. That's nothing. It's just stuff that you created and you're just going to put it out there and sell. The only thing that I think is difficult about the retail side of the embroidery is making sure that there's a demand for what you're trying to sell. That is it. That's the only thing that, to me, I find that it's hard. Because there are a lot of things, like I said, you could come up and create the most cutest thing and you think it's cute. It's cute to you, but then nobody wants it. And you're like, oh, this is cute, but nobody wants it. You get not one sale. And then, like I said, there have been times where I put a design out there and I didn't even put much of a thought, and I just said, it's all right. And next thing you know, bestseller. So, you just never know. You just never know. Yep, I see. Yep, I agree, Miss Shirley, because the thing is, you got to find that niche. You got to find what people want out there. That's the only thing. But once you have that, then you're good. But yeah, but the thing is with the custom, I find that if you don't know what you're doing, your business can go downhill right away. It really, truly can. Hey, Farina, how are you? Hey, Veronica, how you doing? Hey, Tina. Hey, Debbie, how are you? Oh, Veronica said she just finished baseball jerseys and all of it was custom, and I was going to post on your page. Oh, yes. Post them, Veronica. I want to see how they turned out. It was a lot to do, but good money. Love it, though. See? There's a lot of good money in the custom embroidery. There truly is. Oh, snow is coming to Lake Ridge, Virginia. By the way, can you do a tutorial on the drip? I did have I do have Deidre. I do have a tutorial on it. Look for weight threads. Okay. The materials, you can use them on any materials. You're really good. The real importance on the weight thread is on the design of the embroidery, not the fabric that you're embroidering on. That's when you really have to look at the design, because sometimes in a design, you're going to have little details in there where 40 weight thread's not going to cut it. You're going to have to do 60. So I do have a video on there that shows when to use what different type of wet thread. Wet thread. Oh my God. Weight thread. Have I been saying wet all this time? Okay. The different types of weights. I do have a video out there, Deborah. And what I will do is I'll post that link on the Facebook group, so that way you can find it real quick. Okay. I just borrowed, but and I'm trying to learn. I have a whole list. I have a whole playlist of videos on how to work on the machine. So that will really help you, Tamara. And enjoy your machine, by the way. Enjoy it. You're going to get addicted. You're going to get addicted. You're going to love it. You're going to be like, oh, I can do this. I can do that. And then before you know it, you're going to be embroidering everything in your house. I'm just saying. Hey, C. Mickey, how are you? Let's see. I'm trying to go down, make sure I got everybody in there, and I think I got everything. How do you calculate your thread? A lot of times what I'll do is I do kind of like $1.50 per 1,000 stitches, right? But I really do most of, and this is Ivan Neal. a lot of times this is what happens. So you hear a lot of times people come out and they say, hey, I do this price per stitches, right? I'm more of a time girl. Okay. Now, do I actually look at the stitch count? Yeah, I do. But the reason why I look at the stitch count is because I want to get an idea of how long is that item going to be in my machine. So what I usually do is I have a certain rate that I charge per hour. Okay. So let's make the math a little bit simple, right? Let's say I charge $100 an hour, right? So that means that for every 15 minutes, let's see, hold on, it's $25. Yeah. Yep. Okay, got it. All right. Yeah. So that means for me to work on a project for 30 minutes, that's $50 right there. So usually what I'll do is I'll look at a stitch count, okay? And then what I'll do is I'll come on and say, okay, let me just see how long it's going to take for it to stitch out on a machine. Besides my hourly wage, okay, I also have to look at the materials that are being used. So usually what I'll do is I have like that little cheat sheet. And if you look on my channel, I do have about 2 videos where I talk about how to do embroidery pricing. And I try to calculate how much the supplies are going to cost that I'm going to be using. So, some people, you see them say, like $1,000, $1,000, per 1,000 stitches, $1 or $1.50. You can use that method, but this is the problem, Ivan O'Neill, that I find is that when you're doing it that way, you're only charging for a certain amount of stitches, right? What about your time? What about the stabilizer? What about the hooping, and all that stuff? There is just so much more that you have to incorporate in your price. So, with the calculation of the thread, you can do that. You can put $1 per 1,000 stitches if you want. And then on top of that, put in your time and the materials and everything. Then usually what I'll do is I'll sit back and then I'll look at the price per item. And then also it depends on the order, right? So if I have 50 shirts versus 1 shirt, right? A lot of times if you use only 1 item, I charge a little more for that 1 item, because remember, you're setting up that machine for that 1 item. If you come to me with 50 items, I'm setting up the machine once. And then all I have to do is just keep hooping in embroidery, right? Because I'm not changing threads. I'm not setting up machines and all that kind of stuff. Because remember, when you set up a machine, that's time. That's time. All right. So so that's what I'm saying. There is no really right or wrong. What I usually tell people is just make sure you're not getting suckered. Okay. Don't allow, make sure you're pricing where you are comfortable with the money that you're making. Okay. That's why I say I make sure that I price fair. Okay. I am going to, at the end of the day, I'm going to make sure I have a profit. Okay. I have to, because if not, then my son would be in the street. Okay. Because I wouldn't be able to pay for his dorm. So I have to make sure that I make a profit. And a profit that I am comfortable with. So that is what I truly recommend when people are talking about pricing their items. Make sure that you're coming out with a profit that you are happy with. Okay. So there's, when it comes to the calculation of the thread, usually it's $1, $2 per 1,000. Okay. And you got to remember too, prices for the threads have gone up. Okay. So, that's another thing you have to also consider. So just something to think about. I know I gave you a mouthful. I know I gave you a mouthful, but I'd rather give you a very good detailed explanation and thought than to just come out and give you a number. Okay. I just feel that I like to help. So I hope that helps. Oh, I hit the wrong thing again. Okay. Hey, Joyce, how you doing? Please keep us updated on the Christmas in July. Yes, I do plan on doing it, Deidre. I will do the Christmas in July. Remember, we're just in February, okay? July's not here yet, but I do plan on doing it. I will announce it like probably 2 months before July. So it'll probably be within a month or two that I am going to announce it, but we are going to do a Christmas in July this year. That is for sure. So don't worry, DJ. I'm on it. I'm going to do it. I get up to go to the bathroom. For me, it's the middle of the night. It's good, you know, you have the energy that I have to do it. I got to do it. I ain't retired yet. I'm not retired yet. Keeping things in order is important. I get sales from stores seeing how I keep my inventory. Individually lapped, size, color coordinated. It takes time, but it's professional. It's professional, and also think about this, Buff Cheeky. It makes the process for you easier too, because when you have everything organized, as soon as you need something, you know exactly where to find it. You're not scrambling going, oh, shoot, I need a size small. Where the heck is my size small? Oh, I need this particular color. Where can I find it? Okay. You have everything nicely organized, so you know exactly where to go. And that saves you time. That saves you time. Okay. I see people all the time where the work environment is messy, very disorganized. They don't take the time to clean up. And then what ends up happening just gets worse and worse, right? And to me, that's when you can make a lot of mistakes too. When you can accidentally pick the wrong size of a shirt to embroider, or the wrong color of a napkin or a towel and stuff like that. So you want to make sure that, you really keep your stuff nice and organized, because that really does, not only does it give the customer a good impression of how you run your business, but also it helps you with how you create your products. It really helps the process and stuff. It really does. Hey, Michelle, how are you? Son got an order. Son got an order for a baby blanket, 6 baseballs name. I did it, told him 55. He said I'm worth more, and he sold it to a person for 120. They didn't bat an eye. There you go. See? There you go. There you go. Okay. Know your worth. Know your worth, people. That's so important. That really is. The worst feeling in the world, honestly, the worst feeling in the world is when you bust your behind and work on these orders, and then you're making peanuts. You don't want that. You want to feel good. Okay? So like I said, just be fair. That's all it is. Just be fair. They don't want to pay, let them go. Let them go. Let somebody else be the sucker. It doesn't have to be you. I'm just saying. Hey, crafty Puerto Rican. Custom embroidery orders to me take more responsibility, but at the same time, I can charge more because they usually take more time. Absolutely. Yes. And the thing is, because they do take time, and when you talk to the customers and you let them know that, they are willing to pay more. They truly are. So, I'm serious. Just think about it. Okay. And hey, pretty eyes, how are you? I'm new. Been listening since I purchased my SC1900. Feel blessed since I've been watching you. I am afraid. Do not be afraid. You know what? Hug that machine. Hug it, girl. Hug it. And you know what? If you make a mistake, so what? So what? You made a mistake. That's how you're going to learn. Okay? And this is something that the lady told me in the sewing shop. You mess up the piece of fabric, don't worry about it. There's plenty of fabric out there. Lots of fabric. You can buy loads of fabric, because sometimes that's what happens. We go there, we buy these cute fabrics, when we're for sewing projects, you see this cute fabric, and then you like the fabric so much, you just want to look at it. Instead of making something, you just stare at it and look at it. No. And don't do that. You bought that embroidery machine. It's not for you to look at, it's for you to use. So use it. Enjoy it. Make fabulous things with it. Okay? So have fun. Have fun with it. All right, guys. I think I went through everything. I really hope. And it's 10 o'clock. 2 hours. 8. No. Yeah, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 2 hours today. Yay! Okay. So guys, I hope you did like today's video. I mean, today's topic and stuff like that about, you know, retail embroidering, custom embroidering, the pros and the cons and all that kind of stuff and everything. I really thought about it because I worked on a rush order for Valentine's Day. It was for someone that, they wanted their Valentine's Day for some reason. They wanted some custom work. And, I have a soft heart. What can I say? Okay. I was dead tired because, as you can see, Valentine's Day fell in the middle of the week and I was hardly with no sleep. They came with a custom order last minute. And I just felt bad because I knew that the Valentine's gift meant the world to them. And at first I was kind of like, oh God, this is just too much customization. I can't do it. So I said, I can have it to you after Valentine's Day. And they were okay with it. They were kind of like, oh, I saw they were kind of like, oh, that's okay. And then he was like, well, I have to see what else I can get for his partner and stuff. And I felt bad because I was kind of like, damn, that means, he's going to have to go out, buy another gift because he can't give him this gift. And I just said, you know what, just suck it up because, and this is how I look at it. A little bit of a discomfort to me meant everything to this person. And, I don't know. I just feel like there's so many jerks out there. If you can help someone in some kind of way, it might be a little discomfort for you, but just do it. Just do what's right, And I'm going to tell you something. This person not only paid for the item, but they gave me a huge tip for, the rush order and all that. And I didn't ask for a rush order fee. I didn't ask for it and stuff. And when I looked at the bank, when I saw that the money transferred over, I was like, oh my God, you overpaid. That's not how much. And they were like, no, it's for you, which I was like, wow, okay, thank you. I was like, okay. So, it kind of shows that sometimes, in life, sometimes it's worth helping other people, and I just feel that sometimes you just have to. And I don't mind being the one to help others. I mean, that's really the reason why I really started this whole channel, is because sometimes I feel like people, they give you like half the information. They don't give you like the whole thing. They just want to tell you the good, right? Well, for those of you guys that watch me, I'll tell you the bad too. Okay. Even when I do embroidery tutorials and stuff, if I screw up in the middle of that tutorial, that screw up's going to stay in the video because that's a mistake. I don't like these perfect videos and stuff like that. And I'm just going to tell you how it is, whether it's a good or bad, news or whatever. I even have a video out there that did pretty good. The ugly truth about embroidery that nobody wants to talk about. I did that. And, I thought a lot of people were going to be like, I can't believe she said all that stuff. But, a lot of people really seem to have liked that video because they were kind of like, damn, you mentioned a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't really want to say, but, it's the truth. I like to be honest. And even like today's video, talking about the pros and the cons and stuff like that, there's really no right or wrong, but you just got to know, what the pros and the cons are in whatever style of an embroiderer you want to be. If you want to do retail or you want to do custom, there's going to be ups or downs of whatever choice you make. So you just got to make sure that you realize what the choices are so you can make the best decision for you as to how you want to go ahead and do embroidery in your business and stuff like that. So guys, hope you liked this video, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. I do embroidery happy hour every Friday, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I also do try to put out tutorials also weekly when I'm working on customer orders, especially if I'm working on something that's new that I haven't done on my channel before. I always like to videotape while I work on the custom orders and show you how I actually work on those particular materials and products and stuff like that. So guys, and I will host, like Deidre said, I will host Christmas in July. So I will have details regarding that on the Facebook group. I'm going to start working on that and, put out the rules and all that kind of stuff and everything for that. Yeah, all that other good stuff. So I am going to let you guys go. I don't know if it started snowing out there yet, but if it did, I definitely do want to run down there, put my coat on, and sit in my front porch, probably have a glass of wine, and just enjoy the snowfall. So, and if there is no snow out there, I'm going to actually be waiting for it. Hopefully it comes. So I will talk to you guys later. You guys enjoy your weekend, enjoy your holiday, and I will see you guys next Friday. So you guys take care. Love you all. Have fun with those embroidery machines. So I will talk to you soon. Bye.